Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's been very good for us. You know, we won our last couple of games, so we want to keep it going. And everybody can shut up, because everybody's been very annoying when we've been losing. Very annoying.
Us? You mean like we're annoying when you lose? This guy could be traded yesterday as far as I'm concerned. You just beat the Bulls, you idiot. So he beating his chest, you know, tell him to silence their critics, you know, like they've arrived. This is the problem with this team, Chris, that they've anointed themselves to be this kind of team without having earned it. And so they think they're already in the finals. So Rozier somehow thinks that beating a horrible Bulls team is proving something to someone. And so now everyone needs to shut up because you're annoying.
See, if I was going to nitpick, I would say it should come after you beat the Raptors, after you beat the Warriors. You know, someone who you could feel good about peacocking about. But I do like the irrational confidence.
I don't.
Because, no, Mike, because a week ago they're hanging their head. They're like, can't figure this thing out. They're down on themselves.
They think they're better than they are, Chris.
I don't know if they do. I think they understand what the
Rozier thinks he's better than he is.
Well, probably. But again, that's what makes him Terry Rozier. So I think what they think is...
Where do you get that from? Why is him being an a-hole make him a better player? Like, I don't get that.
That's just how NBA players are.
Some are, not all.
Who's a humble NBA player?
Well, maybe good point. I don't know.
I mean,
I hear you.
That's just the way it goes. But that's part of what makes them good is that they feel like they should have more minutes. They feel like they should have bigger roles. Again, I feel like this team is finally moving in the right direction. They understand they were vulnerable early in the year. They learned a lesson from that. It could happen again. Like, they haven't played anybody that makes you think that this is going to last. But at least they're showing good habits, good signs. I'm eager to see them against a real competition now, but that's not going to happen for a while.
Okay, give me some good habits, specifically, good signs.
The offense has been fantastic. Ever since they moved Gordon Hayward to the bench, it is the #1 offense in the league, ahead of the Warriors, which, like, again, is that sustainable? Probably not. And is it a factor of playing bad teams? Probably. But the fact that they are making more shots than they were at the start of the year, that they're being more aggressive going at the basket, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, guys that we were sitting here yelling at Tatum about taking those mid-range jumpers and wondering if they're working with Kobe messed with his head. He's going at the basket. That's really good signs to me that they're figuring out where they all work well individually, and that's going to translate to team eventually.
Yeah, and it did start with Gordon Hayward going to the bench. Now Brown comes back, and he's a bench player. And they say that they're happy to do it, and they're willing to do it, and it looks good right now. Do you think it can last? Do you think Jaylen Brown can last as a bench player? When I mean last, like, you know, still keep his focus and his drive and, you know, be the guy that he needs to be, and can Gordon Hayward? Can these guys do it all season long?
See, I don't think it's just, and invariably you're going to hit a bump in the road and Brad's going to shift this thing up because you got to eventually get back to that starting lineup. That's
why?
Because that's what makes you so different. Those are 5 skilled offensive guys who give you the best chance of being the most successful team. Now, listen, if this thing rides for 2 months, you know, maybe you need Marcus Smart in there. Maybe you do stick with this. But I do think Brad, you know, we even saw it the other night in the substitution pattern. The 2 Marcuses came out, who are the ones you've injected to give you a spark, and on went Gordon and Jaylen. So you're getting a glimpse of that old starting lineup and seeing, okay, can it work? And why didn't it work at the start of the year? But yeah, certainly will they be happy in that role? I don't know, but winning cures all. If Gordon Hayward can still go out there and have 39 and 8 nights off the bench and still play 35 minutes and still be out there in the closing lineup, he'll be fine with it.
Okay, and Gordon Hayward specifically looked so great. It was about a week ago. He had that great 30-point night, sort of the breakout game. Did he cross a threshold there, or was that more of a one-night thing and now it's back?
Yeah, it's going to be like this for another 2 months, I feel like. It's just, to expect him to go out there and do that consistently, it's just not going to happen. There's going to be nights where that ankle just doesn't feel good, where he doesn't have the explosion. You know, the one thing that's been beneficial is that he's just such a good playmaker that even when he doesn't have the shot falling, he can create for others. Again, the Celtics had a huge problem at the start of the year. When Kyrie went to the bench, they couldn't score. With Hayward on the bench now, your offense is maintaining, and that's part of the reason they're putting up these big, gaudy numbers right now. Gordon Hayward doesn't have to give you 30 points. By the end of the year, he'll probably be a consistent 20-point scorer, but you just can't expect that until maybe after the All-Star.
Okay, I just disagree with you that these guys have to go back in the starting lineup. I don't know why.
Ride it for now. Like, I'm absolutely with you there. Like, why change something when it's working? But listen, eventually...
Well, there's a reason it's working, is because there's too many shoot-first guys in that unit. You need,
for sure,
you need someone like Marcus Smart that does those other little things, or even a Marcus Morris, or even Daniel Tice, or Baines. I really mean, you know, someone who doesn't look to shoot first. And I just think you need that in that starting five, and I think that's the way it's always going to be.
And I think the other thing about Smart is the first possession last night, he goes out there and he is hounding every guy on the floor and setting a defensive tone.
Absolutely.
And so you might, like, hey, listen, maybe that's what you have to ultimately do. I just think when you get to the playoffs, when you start matching up against teams that are really good, when scoring becomes a lot more difficult, you're probably going to have to lean a lot harder on the main guys you have and for longer stretches of time. Right now they have the benefit of using this depth, but eventually I do think they got to go back to that lineup.
Okay, you mentioned the schedule. This is a portion of the schedule where they should have gotten right. And they're getting right. So, I mean, give them credit. They're beating the teams they should beat. But, wow, it is dog food. It's really not going to get much better. New Orleans, of course, has...
Yeah, but yeah, I think he's been dinged up, too, Anthony Davis. So I don't put much stock in this one. They already beat him down there. You should beat him up here.
Yeah, and you're at home. So, right?
The next one, the December 21st, like the Bucks. That's your next good game. You should win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should have a 10-game winning streak going in there. And you should be able to go into that Bucks game and say, all right, where are we at? And maybe at that point, you're starting to crawl towards the second seed in the East. And, you know, as much as I hate worrying about seeding right now, it'll be important.
You should worry about seeding. You should always worry.
You can't. Not in December.
Why not? You should always worry about, always look at the standings. They have them there for a reason,
It's
Chris.
all about playing your best basketball in the end of the season.
No, it's not. It's about being home.
It does help. I'm not saying it doesn't help. I'm just saying right in December, you can't be sitting there. This team had so many issues 2 weeks ago, you can't be sitting here worrying about where you're going to end up in the playoffs.
That's all. It's the only thing they should worry about. Home teams winning the playoffs. It's that simple. Get home court. Thank you, Chris. We've got more coming up.